What's up everybody, Dark Hour 717 here, and currently out on CRUL1, and we're going to do an in-depth mining guide for a 313 patch. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, also follow on Twitch, and don't forget to get your entries in for May's giveaway, the Consolidated Outland Nomad. Details will be at the end of the video on how to do that. What we're going to actually look at today is going to be, as I said, an in-depth guide through mining, starting from the very first step of how to outfit your prospector, where to go find rocks, some good locations, as well as all the way through the processing of your raw ore. In 313, there are new modules that have been introduced, as well as several new ways in which you can process your ore to get different amounts of AUEC at the end. So we're going to be covering all of this, so let's get started. I'm going to go grab my prospector, and we're going to head over to HRL3. Alright, so first we're going to go into our Moby Glass, and we're going to make sure we got our lancet equipped, and we're going to put our modules in, which consists of the previous consumables as well as the newer ones. And we're going to get a Surge, a Brant, and I'm going to throw the Riger on here just because I like the increase of the OptiCharge window with that. And there's a breakdown of what the new modules do on the community tab of the YouTube page. Check that out. It breaks it down by size and what their benefits and negative effects are. We're also going to check our other components here to make sure that I got everything all set up to optimize our mining experience. Alright, pad 3. And there she is, looking beautiful in the blue paint. And now to head up the ladder of death. Best advice I can give for you when entering the ship is just click the animation and then don't touch anything else. Just let it go through the full animation, and that seems to limit how many times I'm killed or pushed through the top. Jump in the seat here. And here we are at HRL3, and typically what I do is I start out here at the outer limits of HRL3 and adjust my limiter down just so I don't go too fast and go flying past any rocks as I'm trying to locate them. And what we'll want to do is just get started with some basic scanning. I usually bring it out to full range, hit it with about a 3/4 power blast just to get an idea of what's around. And a lot of people have different methods for scanning. You got to find what works best for you. What I do may not be what you prefer, but it seems to work for me just fine. But I'll do 4 or 5 different full scans until I get a first box, and then I'll start heading over that way. And we'll check out our first rock here. Now, as I get closer, I will reduce the power of the scan just to keep that box, because sometimes if you don't power it down a little bit, you'll actually lose that one and it'll pick up something else. But as I get closer, I'll move that scanning circle in closer to the main circle of the scanner to just outside or just inside to focus that scan a little bit better, and then just adjust my power as needed as I get closer to the rock. And then once I'm within sight, I'll use the active scanning to see what the makeup of the rock is, to see if it's something I'm interested in. And again, many different ways to do the scanning. Find what works best for you, and then just go from there. So we have a nice 18% Quantanium rock here, and we're going to go ahead and move in to break this one down. We're going to bring out the mining laser, and as you'll notice, the HUD has changed. In the top left corner, we now have a distance indicator that as you move closer, that bar will go across and change from insufficient to sufficient to optimal. Ideally, you want to be at optimal for the best effects. And we're going to go ahead and fire the laser here and get this warmed up. And just as before, when we were mining in 312, we're going to warm it up a little bit and then we're going to engage that surge consumable, or module as they call it now, and then instantly activate the brand for that fine control beam from our laser head to move that up into our green. And since we have the Renier passive module equipped, it's going to increase that OptiCharge window, making it easier for us to get it fully charged. Now keep in mind, with the new modules, we do still have all our old consumables that were there in 3.12. These work all the same. There has been no changes. They've just been renamed to an active module, meaning you have to activate it just as you had before, and it will be a limited effect based on time, and it will eventually deplete. So you'll use them all up and you'll have to restock them through your Mobi-Glass before you can use them again. Typically you get 3 activations before you have to restock it. The new modules, much like the Renier here, is a passive module, which means that it is always active and there's no interaction needed by you for it to be utilized. As long as it's equipped on your ship, on any of your mining heads, it will be doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now these new passive modules offer a lot of better opportunities in the fact that they are always going, and they're broken down into 3 different tiers of 1, 2, or 3, or a standard, large, and extra large. And they can be stacked, so you can actually put more than one of the same type of module to increase your effects, and you're not limited by the size as to what ship they can go on. You can put a tier 3 module onto a Prospector or a Mole or any other vehicle that will eventually take the modules. So we've got this broken down. We're going to check what the quantities are on each of these rocks to see what we want to break down further. So we're going to go ahead and start in on this one here, and as you see, I overcharged it. So we're just going to back off, turn off the laser, and this one will not probably be savable. But the other rocks are still there, so we'll go back in and we'll check these other ones out. So we're going to salvage what we can here, and with the secondary rocks, you don't need the surge. All you want to do is use the brand there and get it powered up into that charge window and break them down from there. And these typically will go quickly, especially with the Renier. Now again, on these passive modules, you can stack them for added effects. You can also equip whatever size you want on any of your vehicles. It's just going to be a matter of whether you want to pay the amounts that are required to obtain them. Right now, I am aware of a bug in 3.13, and it's occurred to me at least twice now where I've gone and bought other modules. It's taken the money out of my AUEC, but never put the modules into my inventory. So unfortunately, I've not been able to test all of the modules yet, but the combination I have here of the Surge, the Brant, and the Renier works extremely well for me. All right, so we got that broken down. We're going to check out what totals we have in here, and we're going to go ahead and extract what we want to take. Now in the community tab, I will have a list of all the modules and their effects and their negative effects. And we're going to speed this up here and get through these other rocks and then move on from there. Alright, so that's all the rocks broken down. We've extracted what we wanted, and we're going to head back to CRUL1. Key important thing to remember is wherever you're mining, know where your closest refinery is and the typical transit time. That way you can maximize how long you're on site before you have to worry about the alarms going off. So here in the refinery, we're going to see what we were able to get. And in raw value, pull up the Prospector here. We've got just about 40,446, and we're going to go over here to the Refinery Terminal. We're going to refine that. So in the Refinery Terminal, you'll actually notice that there is in the top left a list of bonuses and negative effects for different type of rocks that you're processing. Make sure you're familiar with that so that you can maximize your profits. Here at CRUL1, they give a 3% bonus on Quantanium. So we're going to get that job going. And we'll be coming back after several hours, but we're doing the Dinks solvanation, which is our very low speed but high yield. Alright, so we're going to jump back in the Prospector here, and we're going to head back out and get a few more rocks. And here we go. We're going to head back to her L3. We're going to speed up this next one because we're going to follow the exact same process. Now with the refineries, as I mentioned, there are new refinery processes available. There's an additional 4 that they put in. There's in the community tab a list of what those processes are and what they offer. So check out the community tab on the YouTube page to see that list of the new modules, as well as where you can buy them and what their costs are and their positive and negative effects, as well as the list of the new processes for the refinery, so that way you can pick the right one and get the maximum amount of money out of what you're mining. All right, and here we are. We got another Quantanium rock, so we're going to just break this one down, and we're going to add this to our load that we have now. And we're just going to follow the same process of using the surge and then the Brant, and let our Riger do its job of increasing that opti charge window. Keep in mind, find areas that you're comfortable with mining. I use her L3 because I can go there and usually find a rock fairly quickly of a decent quantity. I try to stick to Quantanium, but if things do seem a bit low, I will grab Laranite, Bexelite, or other high-end materials. But overall, I have a few different areas that I will frequent, her L3 being the main one, and occasionally I'll go out to Clio, or even the Air and Halo, which seems to have gotten a little better. Alright, so we've got our second rock here, and breaking that down, we've got a total of 99,959, and we're going to go ahead and put that into the refinery. And again, we're going to select the Dinks solvanation, because again, very low speed and high yield with a low cost. And honestly, the time that it takes to do these refinery jobs, if you're not in desperate need of the AUEC, it pays to just do that very low speed with the high yield, because it is a low cost and you're going to maximize your profits. So we're out here again hitting another Quantanium rock, and again we'll follow the same process. Another bit of good advice is if you're in an org or you have friends that are in the game, for areas such as on surface, on moons and planets, or in high traffic areas such as asteroid fields, it can't hurt to reach out and look for an armed escort that you can trust. You may end up having to share the profits, but it can pay off in the deterrence of pirates or other people that want to come in and just give you a bunch of hassle and maybe even just blow you up for the sake of just killing somebody. So always take into consideration, especially if you're going to Daymar, I highly recommend having a security backup for you in any mining that you do there, just for your own protection. Now, in regards to extracting the ore, there's not a right or wrong way. You can break everything down and then go back and extract all the biggest pieces first, or you can break down a single rock and extract as you go. It's all going to be your personal comfort level. and your own personal skill level that's going to determine what the best action to take is. But either one will work fine. So here we are again, and we have our Prospector, and our third rock is going to be a total of 105,714 AUEC raw. We're going to go in and we're going to refine that, get our Prospector here, and we're going to select the Quantanium, and we're going to go for that dinked solvenation again, which is going to be our very low speed, low cost, high yield, and we're going to get that started.
I think you're going to be happy with that.
All right, so we're going to go for one more rock here, and as you see, we found a nice 48% Quantanium. And with this being bigger, again, the process does not change. You see, we hit it with that surge and moved over to the Brant. We focus on the cracks, and that definitely helps in breaking these rocks down. As those cracks form, focus on those, and that'll help take the gauge up. We're going to go through and get all the secondary rocks, and we're going to fill this puppy up. And just because it's a single rock and I'm getting 100% Quantanium breaks, I'm just going to extract as I go. All right, get our last one here. And head back, and we've got a total of 130,484 raw, and we're gonna go ahead and refine that. Same as before, we're gonna go in, select our ship, start work order, select what we want to refine, and our dink solvenation. Alright, so we've got that work order going, and again, there is no limit as to how many work orders that you can have going at the same time. Okay, so here we are. We're going to pick up our refinery jobs.
Hi, good to have you back.
Alright, so you're going to just select where you want to put it, and based on how much I have here, we're going to go ahead and see if we can't just store that into the Caterpillar. We're going to go ahead and head on up and get out of here to go sell it. Now, it is normal that once you put cargo into your ship, it will show an unknown location of the station that you're at. Just retrieve it, and you can spawn it in and be on your way. All right, hangar 4. Now, as you saw, when I tried to spawn in the Caterpillar Pirate Edition, it did give me the error that it could not bring the ship in. Going back into the ASOP, it did not indicate that it had put it onto a hanger or a pad. Now, if this happens, make sure whatever you do not try to retrieve it again. This could cause you to get a fine or even worse. In some cases, I've even seen when trying to spawn it in multiple times that it puts it into a unknown status where your only option is to reclaim, which will cause you to lose all your cargo. Best thing to do is just give it a few minutes, and eventually it will arrive in the hangar and you'll have that marker. Now, another known glitch for 313 that I've experienced with all the Caterpillars is as you're entering the ship, when the elevator is in animation, do not approach the elevator, let it complete its animation, and then step onto the elevator. In a number of cases, stepping onto the elevator while it's still moving has caused many people to fall through the floor and then go through the planet and end up having to suicide to get back in. So that gives us a total of 744,221 AUEC for everything. And then after we take our raw amount minus the cost for processing, gives us a total profit of 367,618 AUEC. So definitely a great profit to have in an enjoyable and fun gameplay loop. Just have to take those precautions as I discussed with areas like Daymar and such. I highly recommend sticking to the asteroids. They do me well every single time, but find the area that you enjoy most. I hope that this mining guide has been helpful for everybody and that the changes in 313 will be found to be easy for you to adjust to. Check out those new modules and everything that they have to offer. Play around with those. I think it's a great addition. We made a nice healthy profit here, and feel free to throw in comments or questions down below and I will answer them as quickly as we can. And don't forget, if you're considering looking for an org that you can group up with, do mining or bounties or anything like that on the legal side of activities, check out Amarok's Bang, throw in an application, we'll be happy to consider you. And also don't forget, if you'd like to help support the channel and such, check out our Patreon as well as the members tab in the YouTube page. A lot of great packages there. We also have our merch store, which is available with some great items to order in there, and we appreciate all the support. All that money goes right back into our giveaways. And announcing our giveaway for May 1st is going to be the Consolidated Outland Nomad, and we'll be awarding that to one lucky winner on June 1st. So get your entries in by subscribing and commenting on any video here on YouTube, or follow on Twitch, or do both as usual, and you can get 2 entries. Our current followers and subscribers all know what to do to get their entries in. But I want to thank everybody for checking out the video today, and you have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time.